Turn it up, clocking out, driving home, or just turning on. We got the remedy for the daily grind, Monday through Friday. 3:30 to 5:30 EST. Get ready for the shift. It's the Taz effect. It's the Taz effect. Changing up your view, bringing news, history, and commentary to you. 2 hours of power, 5 days a week. It's the real talk and the truth that you seek. Yeah. Tune your dial, clear your head. Listen up to what's being said. Yeah. Kick it off on Mutual Aid Monday. We're giving back. Helping the community, you're staying on track. And Tuesday rolls around and the studio gets blessed. It's Talk About It Tuesday with the smoking hot mess. From the middle of the week, we're leveling up your brain. Prison Wednesday is here to break the mundane. Surprising guests who enhance the whole world. Watch the knowledge and the stories get unfurled. It's the Taz effect, changing up your view. Bringing news, history, and commentary to you. 2 hours of power, 5 days a week. It's the real talk and the truth that you see. Now Thursday hits and the lines open wide. No placeholders here, nowhere to hide. Think about it Thursday, yeah, the mic is all yours. Call in, chat live, just open up the door. And just like that, the weekend's inside. We're wrapping up the weekend, we're doing it right. Fun News Friday is the ultimate news party. Coasting you into the weekend, feeling good and hearty. 3:30 to 5:30, make it your daily check. Lock it in, turn it up. You just...
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me here for the Taz Effect Daily News in a way you did not know you could use. For those listening in over the radio airwaves or through our app for Android and iOS at GCPR.live. Thank you for tuning in. And for those listening and watching from all around the social media sphere, hey, how you doing? So glad you could come through. Hey. It is Monday, which means it is Mutual Aid Monday. And kicking things off, we do have a GoFundMe. And you can go to GoFundMe/Mrs. SCT Lyles, LYLES 91 to help out with catching up on some worldly expenses. Also, today we are spotlighting Community Action Partnership. They help with technical assistance, training, and miscellaneous tools and resources to get you back on your feet, okay? And you can reach them at communityactionpartnership.com. That is communityactionpartnership.com. There is so much to get into. And yes, we are back in business over on the TikTok. If you did not find me before, no, I didn't block you. We got banned. But you can find me over on TikTok at TazJX, like Malcolm X, but TazJ. There's a lot to get into today. Where do we start? Let's start because we tentatively have a deal with Iran. Let's start with a little theft that we were doing.
Are you aware that the United States was taking millions of barrels of gasoline from Iran in the Strait of Hormuz?
We are preventing the flow of Iranian oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
That is not the question that I just asked you. Were you aware that the United States has been taking millions of gallons of oil from the Strait of Hormuz?
Just not sure taking is the right word. We're preventing the flow of it.
Well, thank you. Mr. Chair, if I may, can I play some audio from some comments that President Trump made in the Oval Office?
Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out
Let's suspend that
barrels of oil. Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran until right now.
No.
Mr. Secretary, it seems like you didn't know about this either. So why would the United States be taking out millions of barrels of oil from Iran?
Well, it's essential that we prevent oil sales from generating revenue for Iran to spend to develop nuclear weapons and oppress
Mr. Secretary, I understand this might be an uncomfortable line of questioning and you don't want to do it, but you are not answering my question. So I'm going to ask you again, did you know that the United States was taking millions of gallons of oil from Iran?
I'm unaware.
So do you think that the president is lying based on the audio that you just heard? And I will send it to you in case you say you didn't hear it.
Oh, no, I do not think the president's lying. I think the president's talking casually about our efforts to stop the flow of
Do you
Iranian
think
oil.
that
And
war
we're
is
stopping those
casual?
tankers
Do you
from
think
flowing.
that it is appropriate to talk casually about war?
I think you talk to all different audiences and you talk in all different styles. But I don't have any serious objection to what he said.
You don't have any serious objection for someone talking about war casually. There are 13 service people who are dead. There are hundreds more that are injured, but we should be talking about war casually.
He treats this war deadly serious, and he has worked tirelessly on this war.
Mr.
monitoring
Secretary,
it,
you
caring
just said
about
that
it.
he was speaking casually about this. He
speaks 20 hours a day. He speaks 20 hours a day in different styles for different audiences.
He is the president of the United States of America. He is the commander of chief who is responsible for 13 service members who have died and hundreds more who are injured.
He speaks candidly, openly, and honestly. I think all of America benefits from that.
Well, I appreciate your attempt to protect your boss and to keep your job, but let me be very clear with you. It is not appropriate to talk about war casually. He is clearly keeping you in the dark about what he is doing in Iran, and now you are sitting here in this committee unaware that the president just made an announcement about millions of barrels that they have taken from Iran and stated in that very, very clearly, people don't know, but now we get to know it. But unfortunately, he sent you here and you didn't know it. What is your response to that?
I'm very proud to serve with President Trump. He's been tremendous leadership in a time of great stress right now. I'm proud of what he's doing, proud to be part of the team.
Well, I would not be proud if my boss sent me up Schitt's Creek and left me here in a committee without adequate information and speaking casually about war. That is a horrible place to be. And I'm so sorry that you have to defend that. That is beneath your honor.
Gentlewoman's time has expired.
Going from there, let's go to Lindsey Graham denounces leaked Iran deal terms as awful, calls leadership radical religious Nazis, and warns against $300 billion reconstruction fund. Just a conspiracy, just a theory, I should say, not a conspiracy, just a theory. I'm beginning to wonder if BB from Philly is playing all sides against the middle to get what he wants. Senator Lindsey Graham has sharply criticized reported terms of a potential agreement involving Iran, calling the alleged proposal awful and expressing opposition to any reconstruction fund that could benefit the current Iranian government. His comments came in response to reports about a possible deal and claims regarding a proposed $300 billion reconstruction framework. The South Carolina senator has long taken a hardline position on Iran and has repeatedly argued that any agreement should prevent the country from enriching uranium in the future. He has also called for congressional review of any major agreement involving Iran's nuclear program. Graham said he was pleased by statements indicating that Iranian media reports about the alleged deal terms were inaccurate. He described the reported framework as unacceptable and argued that any final agreement would need to be substantially different. The senator has consistently maintained that Iran should not retain the ability to enrich uranium and has described that issue as a key red line in future negotiations. One of Graham's strongest objections involved reports of a potential $300 billion reconstruction fund linked to Iran. So anybody can get reparations except for Black people. Mm-hmm. Graham used particularly strong language when discussing Iran's ruling establishment, referring to the regime as religious Nazis and arguing that its leaders cannot be trusted in nuclear negotiations. Similar remarks have been made by the senator in previous statements and interviews concerning Iran's government. He has repeatedly argued that Iran's leadership poses a significant threat if allowed to maintain a pathway towards nuclear weapons capability. It's amazing that they can recognize Nazism in everybody but themselves. They can recognize that nobody else should be trusted, but they can't recognize that they don't give anything to the people to trust. Hey, DJ. Graham has also renewed calls for Congress to closely examine any agreement reached with Iran. He argues that lawmakers should review the details before any deals move forward. First of all, we went into war unconstitutionally with Iran. We messed up their stuff. Let me explain. Let me put it to you like this. If I come to your house uninvited, I call you and go, hey, I want to come over. You're like, Taz, girl, this ain't a good time. Please don't come over. I say, screw that. I come, I kick the door in. Okay. I start jumping on all of your furniture, spilling food, everything, everywhere. I'm flipping over tables. I done unplugged your refrigerator, everything. Okay. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm ready to go home. And you're like, you got to fix this stuff. And we need it in writing. You ain't never coming back here. How ludicrous would it be for me to go, wait, this, what you mean? That's Nazism that you gonna say that to me. What you mean I got to pay for what I broke when I came over here when you told me not to? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, we know we still have not put the anti-weaponization fund to rest because Trump keeps bringing it up. Because he's claiming that everybody else's government, Obama and Biden's, has been weaponizing themselves against him. Handing him a book would be viewed weaponization at this point, but I digress. Hot off the presses, Newsom says Justice Department is investigating him and his wife. Yeah, hey, Jess. California Governor Gavin Newsom said Monday that he and his wife are under investigation by the Justice Department. In a video posted on Twitter, Newsom said federal agents have sought to speak to his family, friends, and former employees, demanded records, and dug through years of documents. He accused the Justice Department under President Trump Sr. of abusing the grand jury process. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets, Newsom said. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. And before you go, see, this means that Trump isn't leaving office. He's trying to find a way. He's just not going to leave. Are you dumb, stupid, or both? Trump truly believes that he has the power to choose a successor. And because the GOP is playing into it, when he sat there at a White House event and was like, do y'all like Marco Rubio? Do y'all like J.D. Vance? And they're like, everybody keeps looking to him as if he has a torch to pass on, as if he can pick his successor. And the fact that so many other people aren't saying anything, yeah, that's what he believes. So, of course, he wants to strong arm any and everybody that he views is going to stand in the way with who he believes is going to be his grasshopper. Newsom cited other perceived political enemies of Mr. Trump, including New York Attorney General Letitia James, former FBI Director James Comey, and former Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who have been investigated by the Justice Department. The governor said he has joined the president's hit list. And that's the thing. That's what's so laughable. Everybody wants to argue everything but the facts as they unfold in front of our face. Let me remind y'all, the news is nothing but the chronicling of history as it happens during our lifetime. Okay? And why do I say this to y'all? Because every time Trump talks about the Biden's government being weaponized against him, y'all want to dig into such far-reaching history. Just remind people that, hey, that is what Trump is doing currently. That's all you got to do. I don't know what your obsession is with going so far back in history when you have so many examples right in front of your face that are happening right now. That's like me going, You know what? I really liked my hair when it was black. Let me see if I can go find some pictures from 10 years ago when my hair is black, when you can look at me and clearly see my damn hair is black now, for those that can see. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me, and just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, the California governor said. It's unclear what Newsom and his wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, are under investigation for, and the governor did not provide details about what information or documents investigators have stopped because they're probably seeking everything. Nobody knows what they're under investigation for. Y'all remember the whole mortgage fraud? Oh, everybody's committing mortgage fraud. We got to investigate everybody in every bit of government if they're registered as a Democrat. Mortgage fraud, mortgage fraud, mortgage fraud. And then it disappeared because they just threw out a term and started digging, hoping something would go. I'm under investigation for these shoulders. Hey, shoulder, hey, way to go. I need y'all to think about these things and remember, first of all, Trump is accustomed to branding, marketing, reality TV. Okay. And he's also used to the 80s and 90s movie version of the mafia. And let's not forget his bosom buddy, Rudy Giuliani. This was his bread and butter, the perp walk, the selling the public a story. And most people, if you ask them, they'll remember the perp walk and they'll tell, oh, yeah, that person was indicted. They served this time. They will come up with a whole damn story because that's human nature. And when you go look at the fact, these people weren't indicted. They were not prosecuted, let alone sentenced or anything else. They're banking on that being in your mind. And then you forget all about it because there was nothing. Just one big nothing burger after one big nothing burger. Now, speaking of James Comey, got a couple updates regarding that involve James Comey. No friends for Comey. Judge rules no amicus briefs. No friend of the court briefs will be allowed in America's attempted prosecution against its former FBI director, James Comey, in a North Carolina federal courtroom. In the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina, Judge Louise Flanagan on Friday gave a one-page order explaining the discretion available to the court and the route she's chosen. Comey, facing charges tied to his posting of an image of seashells spelling out 8647. If you want some merch saying that, you can go to tazisms.com. On the Outer Banks is scheduled for arraignment on September 30th in New Bern and trial October 21st. He is facing 2 federal counts of threats against the president. At this point, if you sneeze in the District of Columbia, they're going to try to say that that is a threat against Trump. I'm pretty sure that for a split second last night, whoever the staffer was that put a white MAGA hat on Trump to obscure his face because he was knocked out, he was slumped. For a split second, they probably tried to charge that person with threatening the president. Okay. Because Lord have mercy, don't let him go into an actual restaurant and they run out of something and they're like, 86 the meatballs. What? You're threatening the president. You're threatening the oh, and you got melanin. Oh, and a tuna biscuit. Oh, you're threatening the president. You want the president dead. First of all, don't nobody want that mofo dead more than melanoma in them kids. Slumber, but he's up 20 hours a day. Yeah. That can't. Just like when JD Vance had a slip when he was asked, if Trump wants him to be his successor. Like I said, stop buying into this BS. Y'all complaining about the size of this administration's egos, but everybody keeps freaking feeding into it. But I digress. But JD Vance slipped up and was like, yeah, politics, the president, he's really into it. He just gobbles it up. What do you mean? Why are you talking about this man's job like it's a hobby, like it's a brand new interest that he just discovered? Okay. Like they really talk about Trump Sr. as if he is the uncle that lives in the back room at Big Mama's house. That any kids from Gen X on down the line have no idea what that uncle looked like because he ain't never left the bedroom when there's company over. And everybody outside of Big Mama is considered company. No federal rule of criminal procedure or local criminal rule provides for the filing of amicus briefs before this court, Flanagan wrote. It is a matter of the court's discretion whether to allow. Defendant and the government are ably represented by competent counsel. The case is formally known as United States of America v. James Bryan Comey Jr. Her order concluded, and I quote, acting within its discretion, the court provides this notice that no amicus brief will be considered. Accordingly, any future motion requesting permission to file summarily will be denied. Now, you could take this as she just wants to rule completely on the merit and not in accordance to any professional friendships that he's made along the way. But quite honestly, in a case where it could be argued that him taking a picture of seashells and posting it could be perceived as a threat because of his relationship or breaking relationship with Trump, it would make more sense to allow for amicus briefs to get a foundation of how his professional and personal relationships pan out. Because we've all had friendships, etc., that have run its course. But you know, that's not all when it comes to Mr. Comey. His name and likeness, if you will. Supreme Court dumps Trump aide Carter Page's wiretapping suit against James Comey. Yeah. Let us not forget, James Comey is the former director of the FBI. So yes, there are people that are a part of the current administration of Trump Sr. that are trying to sue the former Trump Sr. director of the FBI for doing his job. But everybody else is who's weaponizing the government against Trump Sr. and his administration. Now, I don't know how anybody else could weaponize the government against Trump Sr. and his cohorts and his administration when he has a revolving door of friends and administrators. I don't know. No, it's not Mountain Dew, Jay. Tis not, tis not, tis not. I had a credit, but it was a very, very specific credit. So no Mountain Dew today. So we know pushing out propaganda. Oh, they're working overtime on it. But did you know that they're enlisting the assistance of professional producers? Take a listen.
According to new documents, Israel hired a Hollywood producer with the goal of influencing the American public's perception on Israel and what they're doing. A public disclosure made under the Foreign Agents Registration Act details a contract between the Hollywood producer Daniel Rosenberg and an intermediary acting on behalf of the State of Israel. Rosenberg, who's the co-founder of the strategic creative agency and production company Piro and producer of major Hollywood projects like Spike Lee's Inside Man, partnered on an initiative with a budget of approximately $900,000. The contract specifies the production of digital and social media content engineered to sway and influence U.S. public opinion in favor of Israel. His company was tasked with implementing a highly polished entertainment-style approach to pro-Israel advocacy. Under the contract, the firm is expected to secure a director and cast on-camera talent and actors to produce digital media campaigns aimed at influencing American audiences. The final videos produced by Rosenberg's team are specifically formatted and optimized to be pushed out across major social media networks like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to directly shift discourse online. This is part of a larger multi-million-dollar push by the Israeli government to reshape its public image and counter declining digital support in the U.S.
If all is ordained by a higher power, if everything was done in the proper order and fashion, why all the trickery and the swindling? Also, over the weekend, brick and mortar buildings, residences, etc., belonging to Christians was burned up over there. Mm-hmm. 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 Now we could break this down regarding the bastardization of two of the Abrahamic religions that have certain people feeling a type of way that's, hey Medusa, that is very illogical to follow either of the theologies, the liturgies, if you will. But, okay. All right. Got a whole book, whole book telling people how they can walk into the kingdom of God. But the people who do not see Jesus the Christ as their Messiah, who would have been the people that were constantly told in one book that they were on the wrong side of things, those are the chosen. Have these tribes that are Christian tribes in one book, but in another book, they not Christian. What? Okay. Now y'all know Christy Nome got a new job, right? Well, new title. They done gave her something to do, and it's not just hey DJ. It's not just counting Kleenexes. Is she good at it? Was she good at the last job? But don't take my word for it. We're gonna catch up with people who have been reassigned or resigned. Starting with Christy Nome. Take a listen.
Christy Nome thinks El Salvador and Costa Rica are in South America.
Who's our best friend in South America at this point? Argentina?
Well, we've worked so much with El Salvador and migration issues. Costa Rica's been fantastic.
That's like saying Canada and Mexico are in Europe. I don't know who's more confused, her or her husband. Then again, this is the same woman Trump fired from a real job, gave her a position that didn't exist, and somehow she thought it was a promotion. At this point, I'm not even sure if she's qualified for the fake job.
Now, from Christy Nome, First of all, she was never qualified for any of the jobs. Y'all, for the same country of people who claim they know they can pick out crisis actors and all this other stuff, no, you can't. Because you don't understand that folks are acting and trying to save face as they're having to step down or they're being forced to step down from the Trump administration. Do you think Kristi Noem did all that lying and crying and spying to get this? She knows that she didn't get that. Hey, Nan Jay. But let's go on to Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard to release evidence of more than 120 U.S.-funded biolabs in over 30 countries, including Ukraine. As Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard has made public previously withheld information about American support for biological research facilities across the globe. The move comes amid broader efforts to increase oversight of such programs and address potential risks to public health. It highlights long-running questions about how taxpayer dollars have supported labs handling dangerous pathogens in various countries, including those in active conflict zones. Gabbard detailed evidence showing U.S. government funding for more than 120 biological laboratories spread across more than 30 countries. These facilities have received support over many years, often through programs aimed at improving biosafety and monitoring threats from infectious diseases. Many work with pathogens that require strict containment, raising concerns about security and accountability when details stay hidden from public view. Officials note that the full picture of locations, funding amounts, and specific activities had not been fully transparent before. The release ties into ongoing reviews ordered under the current administration to examine gain-of-function research and similar work that could carry high risk. The information points to a network that operated with limited public scrutiny for an extended period. A significant portion of these labs sits in Ukraine, with reports indicating more than 40 facilities there that benefited from U.S. assistance. The ongoing war has heightened worries about their vulnerability to damage, seizure, or accidental release of materials. Intelligence assessments previously flagged that at least one such site likely held dangerous pathogens and faced threats from Russian forces. These Ukrainian labs formed part of its efforts to secure and study remnants from older Soviet-era programs, including agents like anthrax and plague. Funding helped upgrade infrastructure for safer handling, yet the conflict environment adds layers of complication. Observers point out that the situation underscores challenges in managing sensitive biological work during instability. And before people go, I thought she stepped down. Yeah, she essentially gave her equivalent of a 2 weeks notice. So there's some stuff that she still has to wrap up. Okay. But Tulsi Gabbard has a very sneaky way of trying to keep her morality intact. Let's not forget, she does belong to a fairly strict cult. And she's kind of known that she's been on the outskirts of this administration, and she's found a way to slowly get information out to the public. Because when we're talking about soft power in other countries and a benefit to the populace in the United States and to people outside the United States, Trump has dismantled a lot. And this is what happens when you have people who have been taught nothing but how to memorize and regurgitate talking points and don't understand anything. What you are looking at is a government that is legislating based on racial tropes and regurgitated, memorized talking points. They have no idea what they're saying. And again, because it came up again yesterday, for the love of all freaking things holy, stop comparing what we're going through with the movie Idiocracy. Idiocracy started off horrific, and then it made a change for the better. We didn't start off horrific. We're walking steadfast into the horror. And instead of any of y'all stepping up to stop this stuff, you're sitting back like you're Madden giving color commentary. This is not Idiocracy. Y'all are not backing anybody to go in and fix it. You're giving excuses as to why you should be comfortable in this mess. I can't even say we're in the prequel to Idiocracy. Y'all will see a smith. People are quick to criticize MAGA because MAGA will take the chorus or half a line from a song in the beat. Y'all remember, here comes the, y'all don't really want it. Yeah, and they took that. Just like Born in the USA. They take and don't understand it. Y'all are doing that with these movies. And for the love of God, learn something else other than The Handmaid's Tale. How about learn where the damn Handmaid's Tale was stolen from? Because that's more accurate. Y'all are taking bits and pieces of stuff, and it's not going to get us anywhere. It's not. Gabbard has emphasized that information about these programs was kept from the American public for too long. The declassification aims to shed light on where money went and what kinds of research took place. Critics of past approaches argue that officials downplayed or obscured the extent of U.S. involvement, particularly when questions arose during the early stages of the Ukraine conflict. Here's the thing. People in the United States are overwhelmingly stupid because we refuse to fix our educational system. And we continue to poke fun at the thinkers. So just like people still do not have a grasp on research scientists, and they still think that, oh, see, we got this disease. They must have put it out there because look at it. They already got a cure. They already, years into working on a cure. How'd they know that was going to happen? Instead of educating people, we want to declassify information and put it out there to do what? What good is the information when people can't comprehend it? That's like you sitting a checkbook and a stack of bills in front of a 2-year-old. You just gonna sit there and scream at them, if Johnny had $5, if Johnny had $5, what is it gonna do? What is it going to do? And quite honestly, a lot of things were not declassified because too many of y'all keep forgetting when folks was mailing each other anthrax because they didn't like how somebody else was living. Not that anybody was coming and forcing them to live that way. Not that people were just walking up, randomly having conversations with them about that. Nope. Nope, not at all. I want y'all to think about the fact that there's been no legislation to prohibit anybody of any religion from walking up to you on the street, trying to hand you a pamphlet, knocking on your door, no nothing. That would be considered putting it in your face, stuffing it down your throat. None of that shit happens. But somebody can be happily doing something behind closed doors. You ain't even supposed to know about it. But your nosy ass is peeking through the blinds, and now you got to take to the streets. Okay. All right. I guess. All right. And at the top of the hour now, again, it is Mutual Aid Monday, and we do have a request due to needing assistance over myriad of categories. We do have a GoFundMe up. If you go to gofundme.com /U/Mrs. MR, that is MRS-SCTLYLES91. If you can, please donate. Also, if you are in need of assistance or you know someone else, you can reach out to Community Action Partnership. They give technical assistance, training, and miscellaneous tools and resources to help you get back on your feet to ensure that you will be okay. You can reach them at communityactionpartnership.com. That once again is communityactionpartnership.com. Now, hold on. If you were unsure about whether or not you needed another reason not to trust a law enforcement officer, oh, don't look at me like you thought I was about to give you a reason to trust them. No, I'm about to give you another reason why not to. Are you new here?
At least 18 police officers have been caught using flock cameras to stalk their exes and even spy on private citizens as well. Civil rights groups and organizations have documented at least 18 criminal cases across states like Florida, Wisconsin, California, Missouri, Kansas, and Georgia. A figure privacy advocates fear is just the tip of the iceberg. Over a 7-month period in Florida, an officer used his police-issued access to the flock database to query his ex-girlfriend's license plate 69 times. He expanded his tracking to her family, searching her mother's plate 24 times and her father/brother's plate 15 times. He did this so much that his fellow officers witnessed him looking up her location on his cruiser's dashboard screen during active shifts and warned him to stop. He also hid an Apple AirTag in her wallet. This trend spans across multiple states. For instance, in Wisconsin, an officer used the department's flock network to track a woman he was dating and her ex-boyfriend nearly 180 times in 2 months. In California, a former officer pleaded guilty to using these cameras to obsessively track his mistress, her new lovers, and his own wife. He even managed to continue using the system even after being suspended from duty. In one case, an officer searched thousands of camera networks specifically looking for a woman with the typed-in justification, had an abortion, search for female.
I'm going to tell y'all again. Y'all thought certain laws, etc., was for what it's intended. These are the United Sneaky States of bitch assness. Okay? Men and male presenting individuals overwhelmingly want control over women. They want to not only view us as property, but treat us as property and for us to shut up and take it. But simultaneously, they want us to be strong. They want us to stand up to everybody else, but not to them. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Keep in mind, there was a man tracking his mistress, his former mistress, and the person she was with, and his wife. Another one, what was the excuse? Oh, she had an abortion. How do you know she had an abortion? We need to track her down. Y'all done cried so long, white people, about how y'all was slaves. You're about to be. You're about to be enslaved by your own kind, not indentured servitude. And not white slavery, because surprise, surprise, white slavery is a term for sex trafficking. And sorry, not sorry. Some of y'all think too highly of yourselves. Ain't nobody trying to sex traffic y'all. For reasons. But I digress. Y'all have said y'all wanted to be oppressed so badly. You're about to be. You're about to be. I keep telling y'all, every couple of business weeks, the litmus test is black people, specifically black women. When you all believe that you've convinced society to accept what has happened to black people, they're going to do it to you because their ultimate goal is to show you who's in charge. Let me remind y'all, the hierarchy of race was never intended for a whole community to sit on top of it. It was intended for one person to sit on top of it. This is why you can take away from and add to the umbrella of whiteness. Because there's a hierarchy of race and there's also a sub-hierarchy within the void, the whiteness. But y'all want to keep playing around. Now, ICE officers arrived unannounced at nonprofits that are representing migrant children. ICE officers have arrived unannounced in recent days at the offices of nonprofit groups that provide legal representation to unaccompanied migrant children, the groups said. The groups called the visits the latest example of intimidation tactics from the Trump senior administration in detailed visits in which ICE investigators, as well as agents from the Department of Health and Human Services, arrived at their offices and sought access to documents and financial records relating to the organization's child clients. The agents were turned away each time and were not provided with any records, as they had no warrant or authority to make such unlawful requests. The three groups, Amica Center for Immigrant Rights, Ayuda, and Kids in Need of Defense, KIND, said in a statement Friday. This is a blatant abuse of power to try to intimidate child advocates who have dedicated their lives to advocating for unoccupied immigrant children. I want y'all to think of this. The adage, the American dream, came from Horatio Alger, who preyed upon unaccompanied children who were immigrating to this country. Until we educate ourselves as a whole and honestly and earnestly educate ourselves, we're going to be stuck in a Groundhog's Day. This is not a pleasant Groundhog's Day. And this is why so many of us look and we appear unfazed, because we've seen it 1,000,001 times. Now I want to say something, and I want y'all to hear me, and I want y'all to hear me clearly. Running away from what makes you uncomfortable is not going to change anything. It further puts you in a bubble, and it keeps you in a bubble of bias. Far too many of y'all believe that your feelings that you express publicly, meaning your PR campaign for self-preservation, makes you a good person, makes you deconstructed, makes you non-racist and non-biased. A bullshit. The fact that as soon as you get uncomfortable, you run from the discomfort, further sheltering your line of sight. No. It means that you are more comfortable in the racism, the bias, and all the phobes on the planet. Because all this, oh, I wish it wasn't this way. What are you doing for it not to be that way? Because telling me what you wish is no different than telling me that your thoughts and prayers are with a tragedy. Last night, we had somebody come into the Villain's View and claim that Kamala Devi Harris had no plan, that all she had was an anti-Trump campaign for presidency. This same person is constantly, oh, I wish it wasn't this way. I wish you would shut up and sit down. Every conversation does not mean that a white-bodied individual needs to center themselves. Sometimes y'all need to shut the F up and listen. You don't need to center yourself in every damn conversation. You don't need to derail yourself in every conversation. And newsflash, everybody is not talented. And you don't have to try to force a talent. And you don't have to have certain things in common in order to fit into a group dynamic, to be a part of the community, to be friends with somebody. Just because two of your friends make music does not mean that you should try your hand at it, because that may not be your ministry. And far too many of y'all are showing your racism and your utter hatred by believing that and showing that you believe that because you see the black folks do it, that means that you can do it. A bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit. And buckle up, Buttercup. Here's something I really need you to hear. If you can comment as you are consuming someone else's content and something comes to mind that's not being discussed, you have a platform that you can discuss that on. You don't have to try to derail the conversation. Mm-hmm. A lot of y'all are claiming that you're not getting information because you're over talking it. If you would not tune in to say Grey's Anatomy, no, we'll use Law and Order. Law and Order tends to be ripped from the headlines. If you wouldn't tune into an episode of Law and Order and immediately pull out a device and start emailing the producers and directors, going, "Well, last night, were you aware that this had?" Let the information roll. Let the information roll. You're not getting information because you're coming in to be the star of the show. Now, last night, we had the Ghetto Olympics, OG, Anglo-Saxon style. And if you, it's popping, twin. If you watched the villain views, we were covering it, then you know that the UFC fighters were said to be receiving their bonuses from the cryptocurrency company of the Trumps. So go with me here. Eric and Donald Trump Jr. made $500 million selling cryptocurrency to collapsing company. Now the shares are worth pennies. Remember, the UFC fighters were promised payment from President Donald Trump Sr.'s family made almost $500 million from a deal in which they sold $1.5 billion in cryptocurrency to a publicly traded company, Alt5 Sigma. In August 2025, Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. visited NASDAQ in New York to celebrate a new business partnership with Alt5 Sigma, which would provide investors with easier access to cryptocurrency backed by their family. The deal is one of many that have greatly enriched the Trump kids since the start of his second term. In June, the company warned investors it may not be able to stay in business much longer as its share price has fallen over 90% and a rebranding has not revived investor interest. If the company, known as All Financial Corp, cannot sustainably increase its share price from penny stock levels within the next 15 trading days, it may be delisted by NASDAQ. One of the few groups that benefited from the Alt5 Sigma transaction is the Trump family. As part of the August deal, Alt5 acquired $1.5 billion worth of crypto tokens from World Liberty Financial, the crypto company co-founded by Eric and Don Jr., among others, in 2024. The president and other members of his family were entitled to nearly $500 million in proceeds from the crypto sale, according to disclosures by World Liberty Financial. All five closed at $8.97 on August 8th, the last trading day before the World Liberty deal was revealed. Since then, Al Financial's stocks, which was originally trading under the ticker ALTS, is now called AIFC, fell to 66 cents per share at the June 8th close, a 93% loss, according to FactSet data. In a letter written in April, the attorneys for Democracy Defenders Fund told the Securities and Exchange Commission that the regulator needs to commence an independent investigation into ALTS without delay. The nonpartisan group fiercely criticized the Trump administration over accusations of ethics issues. They did not get a response to their letter. According to CNBC, AI Financial has become a cautionary tale for investors who saw a Trump-linked deal as a natural winner in a Trump presidency. I don't know why. Hey, Tristina. Hey, Vix. I don't like why would you think that is a good idea? Like, seriously, why? What made you think that was a good idea? Sorry, guys. In real time, having to add moderators back. Sorry. Child, listen, but that's not all when it comes to the Trumps. And when I said last night was ghetto trailer trash, honey, stop, look, but mostly listen.
Eric Trump was just exposed for trying to get insider information from a UFC commentator ahead of tonight's UFC event at the White House. So this is from a now deleted post from Daniel Cormier, a UFC commentator and Hall of Famer, who exposed his direct messages with Eric Trump, who asked him the following, quote, "You placing any bets?" And Daniel responds with, quote, "Nah, I'm actually not allowed to bet on any cards or anything." And then Eric says, quote, "Are any of the fighters injured that you know of?" And Daniel says, quote, "I'm not quite sure why you're asking me this, but I think they're all in good shape." And then Eric says, quote, "I'll just cut to the chase. Are any of the fights tomorrow rigged? I've been eyeing the Loops fight, and I think an upset wouldn't be too unrealistic. Money sign, money sign." And then Daniel shuts it down by saying, quote, "No, none of our fights are rigged, and honestly, I am appalled that you would even ask me something like that." Then Daniel tweeted out the DMs of Eric Trump and said, quote, "I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for bringing this to light. However, I refuse to stay silent. The UFC is a sport that I am deeply passionate about and will not tolerate this type of insider behavior. Shame on anyone trying to ruin this beautiful event." And he put Eric Trump's direct messages on blast. Why this is...
Don't get so excited. Don't get so excited. And before you go, Taz, don't be nitpicky. Yes, be nitpicky. You have conversations like that with people that you're familiar with, that you're comfortable with. And there was some symbolism going on last night. The Black Beast was defeated. The Brazilian, who looked like a good old boy, straight out of Dukes of Hazzard, won. Nobody is going to, especially at their level, DM like that. And to say, out of all the people fighting, that's the one fight you to go, that one, that one, you know, yeah. No. I fell asleep. That may have been a blessing. Yeah, well, trust me, Nana J, it was. There are a lot of people right now. When I told y'all that the grifters will turn on one another and make a grift out of each other, I'm not joking. I don't know how many examples of this need to pop up since the first time I told y'all this. Yeah, it was it was a doozy. But that ain't all. Shane Gillis says he didn't love Michelle Obama comment at UFC fight. MAGA-friendly comedian Shane Gillis, who attended Donald Trump's UFC Freedom 250 event, shared his take on UFC fighter Josh Hockett's bizarre outburst about former First Lady Michelle Obama when he was cornered by TMZ reporters Sunday night. It wasn't bizarre. It wasn't bizarre. That was the perfect place to say it. They knew why they were there. There are people who look at what Trump and his family have been able to amass since they just been out in open in lambasting Black, brown, indigenous people of color. So of course the copycats are going to do it because non-deconstructing white-bodied people are not original, and they all believe just around the river bend is their windfall of cash. So when they see somebody getting rich quick off of anti-Blackness, especially, and if you sprinkle it, you put the icing on the cake, and that icing is misogynoir, yes, they're going to do it. And we know, like I can tell you at clockwork, back to school, we're going to see an uptick in especially white-bodied women coming after Black women all of a sudden. the winter holiday season. Oh, and when it comes, oh, and if they want to do something big for New Year's Eve, baby, and they'll make it rain on a hoe. Make it rain on a hoe. And there'll even be black women that will jump in on it too. Because there are stories coming out now today that, oh, Trump was shocked by it. No, he wasn't. I watched with my own eyes that after he said that, after Hawkins said that, he walked over and quote unquote gave Trump a chain and Trump, yeah, give me the trinkets. Give me all the trinkets you got. Give it to me. Yeah. Yeah. So for him to say the 28-year-old, then look, you say you're 29, but you're really 99. Like, for him to say it was right on brand. Racists are still saying Michelle Obama jokes, are still saying George Floyd jokes. And yes, I'm being very facetious in calling them jokes. They have nothing new, but they know it will land with one another. It's the ultimate calling card. I'm not going to call it a dog whistle. It's a calling card. No different than when pedophiles say certain stuff to check the pulse in the room. Like, oh, you are one of me. One of us. Come on, come over here. That's what they're doing. And it doesn't have to make sense. It never makes sense. Because they're claiming she's a man. That she was born a man. Okay. If she was, what difference does it make? What harm did it do to the country? And given that Michelle Obama, on her own, her whole thing is making everybody better. If she was, don't you think that she would have made it known? But let's be realistic. They have Michelle and Barack have 2 children, 2 daughters. One looks just like Barack. One looks just like Michelle Houseway. And they have crisscross intertwining features everywhere else. Meaning 50% of DNA had to come from one parent, 50% DNA had to come from the other parent. The way those girls are mixing matched up, right? Now, last time I checked, you can't take 50% male DNA with 50% male DNA and come up with babies. If that was true, she still showed more class than anyone else in the White House. Exactly. And that's one, and that's a great point, Anna J, because if their whole thing is LGBTQI is uncouth and bad for the country, if you're saying that our most educated, most active, most compassionate, and most globally respected first lady was a member of the trans community, but you're also saying the trans community is a bad influence on children, which one is it? Which one is it? Science, critical thinking, none of that, twin. The 28-year-old fighter celebrated his win over Derek Lewis via a TKO in the second round on Sunday night by shouting, "Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?" Which was met with both laughs and loud groans. There wasn't no loud groans. Y'all keep trying to rewrite history all you want. And this is why y'all really don't want us recording and putting stuff out. But guess what? Y'all always allow for certain stuff the next day. Gillis, 38, who was fired from Saturday Night Live before his debut episode for using a racial slur on his podcast, told TMZ he didn't love the comment when asked for his reaction by the outlet. You know, it's time to hang it up flat screen when a racist is like, okay, this shit is getting old. Because I don't want y'all to think that Gillis all of a sudden grew a conscience. Hateful people are not creative. So eventually they get tired of the same 4 or 5 jokes circulating around. And here's the thing. Calling Michelle Obama a man, a monkey, all of these things just lets us know y'all want to have sex with her. And before you go, no, Taz, that's a straight. Is it? These are the same people that brought us STDs and STIs because them and their ancestry like to stick it in or get stuck in by animals. I know that they sold you the tall tale that, oh, it was to emasculate them. That's what buck breaking. What? No, you have to be aroused to do that. So there's a level of attraction. There are a million. You gonna tell me you done beat these men, separated them from their families. Like you beating a man and he cannot fight back and protect his family. You done raped his daughter, his mama, his wife, everybody. You done sold everything about this man, stripped him down to nothing. There was no reason to intimately assault him. You did it because just like your wife in the big house, y'all like black people in an intimate way. And you let us know every chance you get. Intimidated white-bodied women. When you start making rules that your men, your sons can't be around us, we know. You're afraid that he gonna slip and slide, dip and dive and fall inside of us. You're not paying any attention to the fact that just because you won't tell him to go to hell don't mean that we won't. Huh? A lot of y'all bank on and enjoy the just stick to your own kind because that's the only way that your little crush is gonna pay you any attention. Huh? Mm-hmm. Now, over this weekend was the annual Illinois GOP Gala, and there was a bit of a special guest. There was a gentleman who decided to volunteer his tribute. And baby, listen, here's his findings.
I woke up today and decided to inflict pain on myself, so I snuck into the annual Illinois Republican Gala featuring guest speaker Nick Shirley. Did I get the content I wanted? Not really. Can Nick Shirley read? Absolutely not. That was one of the worst public speeches I've ever had the displeasure of watching. I get in, I'm trying to get my bearings. I do the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, a prayer service about ridding Illinois of demons. I mean, dude, what are we talking? I'm in downtown Chicago. They're like, this place is hell on earth. I'm like, really? I come from Georgia. It's pretty great here. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but okay. They're like, we're taking back Illinois. Are you though? I'm 6'8" and I play for the Lakers. This is a fun game. Let's go back and forth and just make shit up. They didn't say much of substance. The Illinois Republican nominee for Senate, governor, and the rest were there. They didn't really speak. They certainly tried to distance themselves from Nick Shirley, considering he's insane. And everyone hates the Trump administration. So they're trying to wiggle the line of, selling their soul while also telling their constituents like, hey, I'm not really like that guy who's fucking your life up. I got stuck in a 45-minute conversation with a woman who told me she can't use her real name on Facebook because if she did, she'd get fired from her job because she talks so much about how much she hates immigrants on Facebook under a fake name. This was not a good time. So I'm going to go have a drink.
I've told y'all before, I'm going to tell you again. They've never liked Trump. This is why in Georgia, the Republicans broke into their own faction, created their own GOP. And again, as much as they want to tell you racism is dead and where I stand and what I think is right, this is why they do it in hiding, in private. They want to convince you of certain things so that it can continue. I came across someone in the comment section that claims that they've always lived on the south side of Chicago and they ain't never seen nothing like a cross burning or any type of racism. People are just too sensitive, and laughing emoji. No, you know that it's happened. You've probably participated in it. You want people to turn a blind eye and pretend like it doesn't happen so it can continue to happen and you don't receive any consequences. And those that you know that actively participate in it won't receive any consequences. That's what they want. Because again, they realize that eventually it will become socially acceptable, whether because people collectively start to agree, it ain't that bad, or your silence is compliance. When we say silence is compliance, we're not just talking about the opposition. We're talking about you too. It's no different. And I've been guilty of this. When somebody does something to you and you don't speak up about it, and then you find yourself in a situation where you're like, shit, I did kind of walk myself into it because all this time I ain't told them nothing. I didn't tell them that I didn't like that. They just keep bringing it to me, keep bringing it to me, keep bringing it to me. Yes, they need my glasses for real and a hearing aid. You got that right. But that's how it is. You know, I'm not afraid or ashamed to say. Recently, there's a situation I've been thinking over for about a week and a half now. Am I upset with the person? Very much so. Well, I just can't say I'm upset. I'm hurt. But I realized part of it, a big chunk of it, is my own fault. I was quiet, making them think that certain things were okay. I was just brushing it off because I'm thinking, oh, they'll get it. They'll get it. And then they're not going to get it if I don't tell them. It's no different than that. Oh, that's just how such and such is. Such and such is that way because you let them be. And sorry, not sorry. A lot of y'all are really butthurt and in your feelings because you don't have no friends. And you love to tell people you got abandonment issues, you know, such and such a bit. They didn't abandon you. They escaped from you. You only put yourself around folks that want to give you a pat on the back and will ignore everything that's wrong with you and never give you any correction. Therefore, when correction comes, you're like, no. If you are the type of person that is like the following, don't ever criticize Trump or MAGA again. Go with me here. If you're the type of person that believes that you know everything, you can tell somebody how they feel, why they did it, when they did it, who they did it to. You don't ask any clarifying questions. You believe that you shouldn't. Shut up talking about Trump or MAGA because you're just like them. If everything is always everybody else's fault, can't nobody tell you that you did wrong. You're just like Trump and MAGA. If the only time people want to invite you out because you got a new friend or a new love interest and they're attaching themselves to that other person because you're not likable, you have not worked on your personality traits. You have not made yourself likable. You're insufferable. And a lot of y'all don't realize there's somebody out there that's going to like and love your dirty, unsufferable draws, and you will get left where you sit because you done decided to be in control of that person. Don't criticize MAGA or Trump. And for those that are getting whiplash like I am with this administration, because we ain't being told nothing. And yes, I understand we have to keep a level of security and a level of privacy, and the average person isn't going to understand everything domestically or geopolitically. I get that. But there are certain things we should be made aware of, because how many of y'all knew that there were going to be dirt bikes in front of the White House, our house, this Saturday? How many of y'all knew that people could forego getting any of the tickets to FIFA for a certain period of time and go to the White House lawn and watch it on big screens with your dime? You done paid for it. Catch what I'm putting down? And it's because, just like many of y'all, Trump doesn't know, and this administration doesn't know how to be in a relationship. And what do I mean? The government is in a relationship with we the people. When you are in a relationship, whether y'all live together or not, you're no longer single. You can't just get up and leave the house and tell nobody you leaving the house. You can't just spend money and not tell nobody you done spent this money if you got a joint pot. Okay, we the people, our significant other is leaving the house and telling us nothing. We don't know who in the house. We done went upstairs to change clothes. We thinking they downstairs. We hear noise downstairs. We ain't thinking of nothing. Our guard ain't up because we think, oh, they downstairs. They come downstairs and now we in a slasher movie. Huh? Remember when Trump brought home that plane from Qatar? Didn't tell us nothing. We was expecting them home on Thursday. They got back Saturday night. We don't know. Do we order food? Do we cook food? Are they bringing something? We don't know nothing. We just sitting here flying by our seat. But we better tell them everything, or it's hell to pay. And some of y'all don't see a problem with it because, again, some of y'all don't know how to be in a relationship. Y'all want to be single, but in control of somebody else. No different than Trump. So some of y'all can't criticize MAGA. Some of y'all can't criticize Trump. One thing for certain, two things for sure. A good team, a good partnership, a good couple has each other's back, and they can have each other's back because of open communication on both sides. Iron sharpens iron. We weak as hell. We're not iron. We are in a relationship with a president that's not iron. We're iron, and we don't have nobody to sharpen it. We have no loyalty because we have no communication to build trust. We got a partner who's concocting everything in their head about us. We done sat on the couch watching a little news, turned on a little Rick and Morty, had a little snack. Our partner done busted in the door, accused us of all sorts of stuff. We done found out we a liar, a cheater, a deceiver, and everything. We're like, when did that happen? President is, I just decided because I figured it out. Because you wouldn't have made peanut butter and jelly on a Monday afternoon if you wasn't cheating with the man who like Elvis down the street. Because you know Elvis made peanut butter and jelly and banana sandwiches. You just didn't put the banana on there because you thought you was gonna manipulate me. That's what we're in. That's what we're in. And some of y'all don't see it because that's who you are too. When I tell you everything is interconnected, it is. Why do you think there's certain people who grab hold of MAGA, lies and all, and those that won't? Those that used to rock with that side and those that no longer. As much as we try to pretend like we're so evolved that we don't do so, no, who you are creeps into every aspect of your life. How you choose friends, how you interact with people, the career field you go into, how you align politically tells a lot about you and what you are able to see and what you are willing to see. My day started out pretty decent, then took a deep, and then we're getting back on track. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who said something to me, and I realized I have been told this so many times in my life that I have to accept that's who I am, and I have to make a decision. Do I want to remain this way or do I want to move past it? But I tend to blame myself harshly, even when I shouldn't, even when I see that I'm not the one that's at fault. Because there's so much turmoil in life, I don't really want to sit and argue back and forth over who's at fault. So if you want to believe that I'm at fault, I will let you. Is that necessarily right? No. But it does make me hypersensitive to the order of operations and who's doing what and who truly is at fault, who's willing to roll with the lie and who's willing to stand up for the truth. Because there have been times on episodes of this show where I've said, you know what, y'all, I owe you an apology. This is what happened. And y'all, there have been some of y'all that are like, no, you don't. I was sitting right here. You didn't do that. This, and this happened. There are other people that are like, girl, it's okay. I accept your apology. I took note. Just like there are times. Thomas is the same way. Where Thomas is like, you know what, y'all, I'm sorry. There are those of us that are collectively like, no, you didn't do it. You don't owe nobody an apology. And then there's some people that are like, it's okay. We accept. It's very telling. So again, some of y'all can't criticize MAGA. Some of y'all, the only reason why you're not overtly and outwardly supporting MAGA is because you don't know how to make friends. And you don't want to lose the ones that you have right now. Said it. I said it. Get mad all you want. I don't always have all the greatest takes. Sometimes I don't have a take at all. I don't know how I lost count of how many times I've told y'all, like, look, all I can do is give you what's on the paper, what's the facts. I don't have anything to add, take away, no nothing. Sometimes I say stuff and I have to come back and make a correction. But you know what? I know I can say it. Because even if you decide, you know what, I'm not rocking with her no more. Yeah, we was friends. We can't be friends anymore. Cool. I can respect that. A misstep can end a lot of things, but you know what? I can make another friend. I will mourn the end of our friendship, but I can make another friend. I don't play a character on TV or online. Hell, I lost 2 friends last night because of my support for the Williams sisters. And one person did had to eat my words. Had to eat my words. So Mr. Ohanian, the OG, the founder of Reddit, that's married to, to Serena, was at the white trash party. Choices were made. I had to eat crow. I was going hard in the paint for him. I was hit with cold, hard facts. And somebody was like, hey, I understand. You know, you want to rock with them. I understand that, but I can't. Maybe one day in the future we can circle back and continue to be friends. But for right now, they said they had to put a pin in it. Cool. I get it. You know? But I'm going to tell y'all one thing that I live by. And it doesn't matter what aspect of life it is. Don't ask or require something that you cannot give. Don't do it. Now, some of you may have seen the video of Pete Hegseth working out, and it's horrible. Now, I don't know what's going on with Pete Hegseth, because when he first got confirmed as SecDef, he's always been out. He's done more workouts with the troops than he's been in the office, so to speak. So I don't know how he's getting worse and weaker. I really don't. At this point, he should be able to do all the workouts with ease. It should come second nature. Okay. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not. But also, he doesn't have to do this. He looks at this stuff and goes, yeah, y'all can post it. Oh yeah, let the cameras roll. He doesn't have to. This is not a part of his job. I want you to think back. How many secretaries of defense do you honestly know about? When do you remember ever seeing them? Now, I'm not going to say there haven't been any that haven't worked out with the troops. But I guarantee you it wasn't public like this. So with that, Pete Hegseth mocked by critics over workout video. Fitness experts weigh in. And this is why I don't do certain stuff publicly. Like there's certain things that I enjoy doing that I don't take seriously. But I do know that there are people that is their career field or that's a hobby that they truly, truly take seriously. And I don't. Like I enjoy bowling. Am I good at it? Absolutely not. Therefore, I don't get together with people who are like in leagues and take it seriously and have their own. Like the only person that I hang out with that has like their own bowling ball is my dad. And even then, we get separate lanes. Like it'll be a whole group of us because I'm there for the jokes. Okay? And don't give me a bowling alley that has the fountain Mountain Dew and a little grenadine, and they're willing to put some cherries in my Mountain Dew. If you ain't had to touch a grenadine and some cherries in your Mountain Dew, try it. Try it. Okay. And I don't know. There's something about bowling alley nachos. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that like that. And a good soft pretzel. If they have the spicy melted cheese. That's what I'm there for. So I don't do it online. Pete Hegseth should have known. Especially since he's talked about DEI and black women this and diversity doesn't make it. Like all of the stuff that he put out, you would think that he would be a pristine specimen. A workout video posted on social media featuring Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has sparked widespread online criticism, with viewers questioning his technique and fitness form, while others defended the display as a show of leadership alongside U.S. troops. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's, let me explain something to you. Okay. I have a brother. I've never hidden this, that has an organization. Okay. Organization has multiple chapters in multiple states and various cities. Okay. They help with a multitude of things. You know, small business owner, recent grad, you have somebody who wants to go into a HBCU, you want to know about the experience, you know, they got folks to help you. Okay. Do I help out from time to time? Yes. I do my best to support my brothers. I'm like their biggest little cheerleader. Okay. There are things I can't do. So I'm not going to pretend to do it, give his company, give his organization bad press potentially, muddy up the waters and slow down the process to do what? Because that would be centering me. Like I'm not an accountant. I'm not an accountant. So when they have their conferences or webinars discussing entrepreneurship and crowdsourcing or getting funding or accounting and things like that, who am I to come up and be like right next to the accountants? Yeah, I got my stuff. No. Stop making excuses for mediocre, non-deconstructing white men. As my homegirl boss up would say, leave these he bitches where they stand. Y'all are sick and tired of he bitches, but you are why he bitches still exist. Y'all here making excuses for it. He's showing solidarity. Show solidarity by not placing them in harm's way. Show solidarity and care by not potentially forcing members of the military to commit war crimes. Hegseth has at times worked out alongside U.S. troops, joining running drills, push-ups, and other exercises during visits to military installations. Videos of the appearances, including a training session aboard the USS Boxer, have circulated widely online, drawing a mixed response. Supporters have framed the workouts as a show of solidarity, while critics on social media have questioned whether the footage was staged, with some also mocking his form. Here's the thing. Y'all need to stop saying stuff in public that you don't say in private. Sometimes just don't say anything. Just don't. I have had embarrassing moments around friends. Friends have had embarrassing moments around me. There are times we just won't say nothing. I'm not going to sit up there and go. I've had friends make fumbles very publicly. I just haven't said anything. What was the point? Thank you, Annabelle. What was the point? What's the point? Because defending them, I'm killing my credibility and their credibility. Mocking them, I look like a horrible friend. And that is being a horrible friend. Sometimes just don't say nothing. Just don't say nothing. Because I guarantee the people that are like, this is a show of solidarity, got hella jokes behind closed doors. Because keep in mind, the same people that are like, this is a show of solidarity are the same people that under the promise of anonymity are decided to tell insert news outlet here all about Hegstad's new insert Oops. All right. As we're coming into top of the hour in our final 30 minutes, keep in mind today is Mutual Aid Monday here at the Taz Effect. And we do have a GoFundMe request to help out with a myriad of life expenses. You can go to GoFundMe.com/MRS-SCTLYLES91. Also, if you are in need of assistance or you know someone who is in need of assistance, this week we are spotlighting Community Action Partnership. They help with technical assistance, training, and miscellaneous tools and resources. Partnership. You can reach them at communityactionpartnership.com. All right. Also, keep in mind, you still have time to go to Linktree /CincyTaz, CINCITAZ as in zebra, and sign up for today's Monday night open discussion on race. You can go ahead and get signed up there, y'all. Now, coming from the Mirror.com, Trump officials suggest U.S. households take out loans to cover medical costs. Everything but help. You can't afford to pay your bills, but some way, somehow, you're supposed to be able to qualify for and afford to pay back a loan. Slip on that jerk pack and get in this marinade bag. I just want to roast you, 'cause I'm gonna cook you. The rich are on my nerves. I'm so tired of waiting on y'all. So I'm hosting a pig roast. I'm starting with Elon Musk and following it up with Trump. 'Cause tonight I'm eating the rich. 'Cause they a bunch of bitches. I'm going to eat the rich, 'cause that's all I can afford. The Trump administration is suggesting that citizens who can't afford to cover their medical costs take out a loan from health insurance companies. So now health insurance companies are loan sharks. You know what? I know a lady she got a powerful prayer. Okay, I didn't ask her what the prayer was because I'm a little afraid. Plus, I believe that some prayers ain't meant for everybody to pray them. So whoever that prayer worked for, just go back to them and ask. Shout out to y'all to keep asking all these ladies what prayer they prayed for their man. Have them pray for you. Okay. Sometimes it's not just the words. Sometimes it's the power and the conviction in the person that's praying. You heard me? Okay. Because some of y'all ain't seen nothing religious since the last time you seen an orgasm. You feel me? But anyhow, there's a woman, I believe that she could pray over all of our debt and the debt will go away. Now, don't ask me how that debt goes away. Okay? Just know you're going to need a black dress. And I hope you can cry on cue. Because whoever you were indebted to, off the list they go to no longer to do. You feel me? You feel me? In a lengthy document detailing how the Affordable Care Act, more commonly known as Obamacare, will operate next year, the Trump senior administration suggested that insurers consider offering loans to cash-strapped customers, the New York Times reported. Officials say the idea is a way to help people with low monthly premium and high out-of-pocket costs who encounter a devastatingly high medical bill. So Nana, it is. She says she prayed to not have to pay off a debt. Next thing you know, that person was in the upper room. First of all, I didn't even say that lady name, sir. Look at you putting people business out there. Second of all, this my side hustle. Hush. All these televangelists can pay for prayers. I can put out the collection plate to put together a prayer list for her to pray for. She willing to pray for everybody. She said that she liked to pray. Okay? Up in my business. But you're gonna tell me these people can't afford regular, schmegular, and how they're, if they've qualified for low monthly premium but high out-of-pocket cost, means their credit ain't all that great. How they gonna get a loan? Experts told the Times the plan is likely to strain the budgets of people already dealing with higher healthcare costs at a time when more than a third of American households already have a medical debt. Is everybody stupid? Is everybody stupid? I want y'all to tell me how people with low monthly cost, low monthly premium, but high out-of-pocket costs, meaning their credit isn't that great, meaning that they're low income, meaning that they're delayed on payments, are going to qualify for a loan. How about this? How about this? How about this? Since most people listening and watching are older than credit scores. Bet you didn't know that, huh? Bet you by golly you are. Yeah. How about we just get rid of credit scores? Because quite honestly, once you reach a certain financial standing, they no longer consider your credit score. And if you think I'm joking, go back and look at any interview from an athlete, a musician, etc. And when they talk to you about how poor they were, how they took out all these loans, how they defaulted and this, that, and the other. And then when the money started rolling in, they weren't even filling out paperwork, let alone having their credit run. They're having credit extended to them. And how about making doctors, retired doctors, etc., and nurses the boards on these hospitals, and who runs insurance companies instead of business personnel, so things can be priced accordingly. Please explain why we're going to Le Dollar Tre to get $1.25 Band-Aids, but charging the average person who needs it, who requires a Band-Aid if they're going to healthcare professionals, $25 for it. Why are we making a profit off of something that, quite honestly, should have always been state run? And by state run, we mean the government running it. Why? Why do we allow so many things to be privatized? And where are the states' rights people? Because y'all the ones that seem to need the medicine the most. You complain about Billy Bob being on the meth and can't get off of it. And, Juliana needs her methadone, but, you can't afford that either. But you keep voting against organizations and programs that would help you do that because y'all like scamming the system, Georgiana. And that's a component of when you think that somebody's voting against their best interest, that is a component we need to start having the conversation about. The people who are addicted to getting off of scamming the system, scamming the government, knowing they don't qualify for stuff, but going out of their way to make sure that they get it. And they do it while standing in the store, making claims about people who rightfully have the benefits. Because, baby, you ain't lived till you watched one EBT recipient try to dog out another EBT recipient in the line. Y'all figured out that Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics didn't work. Why are you still holding on to his blueprint for so many other things? Quite honestly, hear me out. I don't think that there should be a such thing as a private school. Even parochial schools should be publicly funded. Let me explain why. If you want to send your children to a school that aligns with your religious background, absolutely do it. But people should not be able to get a higher education by sending their children to schools that do not align with their religious beliefs. Number one. Number two, when they said separate but equal, and then had to make modifications to that, why did you allow them to slip, slop, dip, and dab right in front of your face and create privatized anything when it came to education? Especially since I know, we all know together that they still found a way to use your tax dollars to fund these endeavors. Y'all want a better country? You got to get a better grade of people. How do you get a better grade of people? You educate the people. But see, educated people would be a collaboratively and cooperatively living people that understand that there is no need for millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires when everybody's happy, healthy, and fruitful. Because a lot of these people, their desire to work so hard to garner so much money and do all these things is protection from those that might behead them in their sleep. And before you try to argue with me, I want you to think about something. Are you learning lessons? If you're a horror movie fan, you like horror movies, are you learning lessons from them, or are you only focusing on the gore? Did you realize that the whole genre is based in social commentary? Moving on, we're afraid. Top Trump aides reportedly think Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan have tapes of sensitive conversations inside the Situation Room. I could have told you that they probably do. What have I been telling y'all since before the first Trump administration? That people in Trump's sphere have a habit, decades-long habit of taking videos, keeping voice notes, keeping emails. Why is this new? Don't nobody be listening to me. See, y'all don't be sharing me to enough places. That's the thing. We're going to get better, okay? We're going to get better. Annabelle was very, very kind to give me some pointers. So in the next week or two, I'm going to implement some things. I just asked y'all to help a girl out. It don't cost you nothing but a few seconds here or there to give a share, okay? Can we do that? Can we work together? Because one share at a time. We going to educate the masses, okay? Okay. An explosive report. I'm sorry. The immature side of me was about to say a whole different word after enduring the fights, white trashapalooza last night. Even when we got off the air, I continued to watch for a period of time until my brain got tired. I honestly don't even remember falling asleep. I remember transferring the feed from my MacBook to my iPad. I went upstairs and I remember shutting down the iPad. I don't remember falling asleep. I'm glad I didn't fall asleep on the iPad because, baby, listen. Baby, listen. A little thick. If I'd have rolled over on this iPad and crushed it, y'all probably wouldn't have seen me for 6 or 7 business weeks because I'd have been crying my eyes out. Okay. I'd have been over here singing to the iPad like, unbreak your screen. Come together again. Like, it would have been that bad. So I almost said something else behind that explosive. Especially there's a big old picture of Trump right above where the article starts. Oh, this what happens. Oh, what is in this Pepsi? It's been so long since I've had a Pepsi. Gee, oh. Okay. An explosive new report Sunday said top White House officials think New York Times reporters Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan have gotten tapes of audio from inside the Situation Room in what would be a truly stunning security breach. Yeah, because okay, first y'all said that they were lying, which that confirmed for me that they was telling the truth in their book, okay? But then you all are letting us know that their details are way too spot on. So either somebody is a note taker, like I'm a note taker. I don't know if Jess is still in here. Angry might still be in here, but they've been in meetings with me. Okay. And like, baby, if you miss a meeting and I'm in it, come to me. Okay. Come to me. I can tell you who was in there, who said what, when they said it, how did, like, I got the notes. I got the notes, okay? Because one, it helps me stay focused, and two, when I have to go back, especially if I'm given an assignment from whatever meeting it is, I need it to be as detailed as possible for when I go back to it. Because sometimes it might be a day or 2 or 3 before I can get back to it. So I need to know. So, the shocking report from Axios's Jim Vandehey and Mike Allen states the top aides to President Donald Trump Sr. believe Haberman and Swan got their hands on Situation Room audio for their forthcoming book, Regime Change, out June 23rd. I want to get this book to toss it into the mix of my literature series. I gotta figure out how. I don't know how we're gonna do this. We already got 2 books going, and there's a 3rd book that was suggested. And I think I can fit that into the budget to get it on my Kindle. This one, I don't know, because it's a brand new book. I don't think I can get any discounts. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But here's the thing. If y'all believe that recordings got out, that means that y'all were not Trump administration. Y'all were not following proper protocol for the Situation Room. It would have been pretty. But yeah, you're not following proper protocol if you think that recordings got out. We're afraid some of our most sensitive conversations were being recorded, an unnamed administration source told Vandehey and Allen, and we have no idea which ones. Yes, I do have Kindle Unlimited. When did I have Kindle? Well, as part of a Christmas gift, I have an aunt that's paying for my Kindle Unlimited until December. So yeah, I can Kindle Unlimited. On Wednesday, the Times published a splashy excerpt from the book centered on the White House's handling of the DOJ files on Jeffrey Epstein. That piece included heavily quoted accounts from numerous Situation Room meetings in which high-level officials made candid statements. In one of the reported conversations, White House counsel David Warrington floated the idea of a presidential pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, a suggestion which drew strenuous objections from several others in the room. What's the name of the book? Hold on, Mrs. Lyles. I'll get it to you in just a second. Haberman and Swan obtaining Situation Room audio would undoubtedly draw renewed scrutiny on the administration's ability to keep sensitive conversations private. Last March, The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg was included on a chat in the Signal meeting messaging app in which Trump officials discussed plans for U.S. military strikes in Yemen just prior to the strikes. Vanderhay and Allen noted in their report that independent recording devices are not allowed in the Situation Room, which they call one of the most secure settings on earth. Axios reported that Trump Sr. is furious about the blow-by-blow accounts of the Situation Room conversations. They added that Haberman and Swan refused to comment on their report. And here's the thing, because of how this administration has handled things, I am wondering if it's like, is it even a recording? That's my thing. Is it a recording? Because now I myself, and I know a few people who can do it as well. If you catch us within a certain time period of a meeting or a conversation, we can give you play by play, legitimately everything that was said. And depending on the severity of something or the seriousness of something, I can recount full-blown conversations, word for word, ball for ball, years, decades later. So it kind of depends. Haberman and Swan's book, Mrs. Lyles, is called Regime Change. So I have to see how much it is. Okay, it's $31 and some change for the actual physical book. And it is one of those I would like to have to be able to put notes, like do my notes, highlight, and add extra onto it, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that this time around. But the Kindle is $16.99, so we might be doing that. We might be doing. What the hell? What the hell? Hold on, sorry. Wait a second. What was I looking up the other night that this came up in my suggestions? How to not die in prison. What was I looking? I gotta look at my notes. I got to see what the hell I was looking up that this came up. You know, we might finish the 2 books that we have right now in rotation, and I may give it some time. And I may check out my my old faithful thrift books and see maybe if they'll have it on a discount there. There's another book option that I have. I may check there. Pull up and get it. Believe it's free. Okay. Well, it comes out on June 23rd. But there's an organization that helps funnel money to local minority-owned bookstores. And they have it's kind of like Kindle. So I'll check with them also. Oh, thank you, Inferno. So yeah, but I'm definitely gonna check with also with the thrift books. Plus, I got to get with them as well, since I do a lot of the reading and all that stuff, to see if maybe I can get like some discount codes for y'all for when y'all want books and stuff. Sorry, what does the cover look like, if you know? Just un momento. It's just like a tan cover. It just says regime change inside the imperial presidency of Donald Trump, Maggie Haberman, and Jonathan Swan. I'll take a picture and send it to you when we're done here. Because so yeah, we will do it that way. Okay. Coming from, I'm sorry, this is like blended into the alternate. Okay, I don't know why that's blending into the background, but I believe this is coming from alternate. Trump's children bought their Albanian resort, stretching to calling it a resort, from an alleged mob-linked figure. How you buy a part of a country from the mob? What the? What? If 1 + 1 is 2 and 2 + 2 is 4, what the hell is this? By the link. Yes, Annabelle, I will as soon as we get done here. Hold on. Actually, can I? Hold on. There's actually 3 different squeaky tank designs. So there you go. Okay. President Donald Trump Sr.'s daughter and son-in-law, Ivanka and Jared Trump. Jared's last name is Kushner. Oh, the shade. The shade. The shade. The shade. Wait a minute, I just caught that. What? Okay. Exactly, twin. Because I'm like, okay. What? Okay. All right. Are embroiled in a fierce controversy over their planned resort in Albania. They're not trying to put a resort there. Trump Sr. wants control over that strait. And it's already set up as a military compound because that's what it's been used for over and over and over again. I knew that when she told that damn lie about swimming over to it and hiking barefoot through there. You ain't see the snakes? You don't know about them unexploded mortars? Like, okay. Locals previously claimed that it will irreversibly destroy the area's beloved wildlife and increase an oligarchical presence in their country. Now they are adding another accusation, namely that the person who sold the Trumps that land never owned it in the first place. So the Trumps don't own it either. Are you trying to tell me that the Trumps got trumped? The connoisseurs got conned? See what I did there? So he's Jared Trump now. I guess so, twin. They really met Ivanka and Jared Trump. Like, screw all that. The disputed property was sold by Artur Shehu, a businessman who has claimed his family's ownership dates back to the Ottoman Empire. That's all I needed to hear. White man conned white man. Because anytime they're like, well, my family done owned it since input any empire here, you a damn lie. And the newest thing for racist is the Ottoman Empire. I've had so many people, especially with the conversation of slavery. Like, if you believe slavery is wrong, why do you want to play oppression Olympics when it comes to slavery? But the Ottoman Empire and their slavery, which iteration of their slavery? But everybody's going to the Ottoman Empire. At least they left the Romans alone at this point. And at least they finally realized that a Viking is an occupation. Lord have mercy. So, and to close out for today, oops. Did they basically pull the Nigerian prince scheme on the Trumps? Yeah, in front of that's what it seems like. And just so y'all know, the Nigerian princes, quote unquote, that were behind the Nigerian prince scams were generally tubby looking white men in Florida. I kid you not. You can look up the court cases. But United States Hey, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? Now, we know Europeans can come over here and learn a thing or two from us about cooking. And to the Europeans, eat whatever you find, eat it in moderation. And Europeans that happen to be in the Chicagoland area, hit your girl up. We can go have a snack or two together on your dime. We can be temporary friends. Because when you go back to Europe and you get back around your racist friends, I don't know you no more. Just so we know. But I'm going to get my reparations one European at a time. I digress. You know, when people from other countries commit intimate assault, aka rape, they get punished. They get punished. People don't make excuses for them. Like what happens over here in the United States. People don't sit there and go, oh, they have such a good future in their head. Yeah, being a serial criminal. Even when it comes to the aristocracy, what do I mean? Norwegian Prince Marius Borg Høiby jailed for 4 years after being found guilty of rape. No notes. No notes. See how they didn't care about a bank account? See how they didn't care about a title? Now, do I believe wartime should have been added? Yeah, but I don't know Norwegian law all like that. And I really didn't have time to really get into it. I'm trying to put together a cabinet. And the pieces are kind of heavy, so I'm slow moving. See how that works? See how that works? Good luck. Nana J, it's been pretty smooth sailing. I had one little hiccup earlier today. But I'm about to remedy that. And I'll be good. Yeah. Got a prince going to the clink clink. See how that works? See how that? So, yeah. So as always, each one teach one, each one preach one. It's been real. Some of y'all will see at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Some of y'all will see tomorrow. They said he gotta go. Agreed. He couldn't use one more time. Right. He gotta go. So, y'all be good. I will see y'all later.
Turn the dial up, let the static fade away. We're building up the future, tracking every single day. Start the morning right, let the rhythm start to breathe. With the sound of coffee pouring, giving just what you need. From the sunrise spark to the late night glow, there's a space for your story and a steady undertow. When the sun goes down and the shadows start to lean, we close it all out with conversations with Jonathan. This is GCPR Radio, loud and clear, where every single voice matters, far and near. Yeah, we lock it in, connect the track, GCPR. Got your back, download the app on your phone today. iOS or Android, we're a click away. When the weekend hits, yeah, the energy shifts. Sundays bring the heat with a couple of gifts. The Kennedy effect gives us the hard-hitting news, breaking down the facts, clearing out the blues. Then Wayne Green gamblers step right into the zone, rule them their position on the microphone, telling you what to watch, what's a hit, what's a miss. Then it's the villain's view for their random commentary bliss. This is GCPR Radio, loud and clear, where every single voice matters, far and near. Yeah, we lock it in, connect the track, GCPR.